Hold on. All right, 8.4 quiz tomorrow. Pascal's triangle and calculating the binomial coefficient. There will be 5 questions. 5 questions. How many questions tomorrow? 5 questions. There will be 2 calculating the binomial coefficient. That's this top section. 2 of those. So you will need to know, you guys have to know the formula, n factorial over n minus r factorial times r factorial. Now I know some of you know how to do all of this in your calculator. If you do not show what you put in your calculator, then I'm not going to give you full credit. But there are 2 of these questions. They can be asked 2 different ways. This way, looks like this. This is your n, and this is your r. Or they can be stacked on top of each other, where the top number is your n, the bottom number is your r. So what I am looking for, Mateo asked me, is this okay what I showed? This is what I'm looking for. Say you have a problem like this, right? Your n is your 216, your r is your 211, correct? What I need to see from you guys is 216 factorial over 216 minus 211 factorial times 211 factorial. If that's all you show me, that's okay. Most of you will show me a little more work. You'll say, okay, on the top here, I have 216 times what? 215 times 214 times 213 times 212 times 211. Why will you stop at 211? Because 216 minus 211 is 5 factorial, so it's 5, 4, 3, 2. Do I need the 1? No. But then I have my 211 factorial on the bottom. This is what I'd really like to see. This step right here, just so I can fully understand that you guys know what you're doing. A lot of you, once you get here, you get real messy, and then we miss a number. Sarah, I'm not picking on you. Just yesterday, so frustrated, right? She and I were trying to figure out where she went wrong. We put a 3 in instead of a 2. You know, like there's tiny little mistakes that you can make. So just, you guys have a calculator on your desk. Make sure you're using it. What can we cross out here? 211 factorial on the bottom with 211 factorial on the top?
4 with 216.
Say it again.
4 with 216.
Okay. 216 divided by 4 is how much?
54.
Is it?
I mean, wait,
You guys are funny. You're not an idiot. Don't say that. It is 54. Good.
it's 54.
Be confident. What else? 5 into 215? How much? 43? Okay. 3 into what?
212.
Okay. How much? No, it doesn't go in evenly. That's okay. What about 213? 71?
Yeah.
What about 2? 2 goes into 212. How many times? 107? 6, I mean. All right, we're good? So now, what I caution you to do here is to just circle what you have left over. It would be real easy to skip that 214. God bless you. Right? Real easy to skip that 214. So just make sure you have everything circled that you're going to multiply together. Now, you might have cross-canceled differently. Some of you, though, will put all of this in your calculator. Mateo, this is why I caution that. You just put this in your calculator, and your calculator will tell you overflow. You will not get an overflow answer. So in that case, it's not that you did something wrong or that I did something wrong with the numbers. It just means there's just too much information that you're trying to put in at one time. So you need to separate it and simplify. But when I multiply 54, 43, 214, 71, and 106, what do I get? Did we do that? 54 times 43 times 214, 71, and 106. You guys get 373, 972? Okay. So we have 3, 7, 3, 9, 7, 2, 9, 6, 0, 8. Big old number, yeah? That's okay. You guys might have ginormous numbers. That is okay. You have calculators. If I was asking you to do this all by hand, okay, that'd be crazy. But you have a calculator, just go ahead and utilize it. But 2 of your questions, not necessarily the first 2 because we'll have different versions jumbled all over the place, but you will have 2 questions that are calculating the binomial. If you have something like this, all right, this is my n, this is my r. So I have 9 factorial over 9 minus 0 factorial, right? 0 factorial. At this point, what is my answer? 1. If you guys don't see that right away, no big deal. Simplify it. 9 factorial over 9 minus 0 is 9 factorial. And then I have 0 factorial. Guys, what happens with 9 factorial on top and 9 on the bottom? It cancels out. I'm left with a 1 on top, not a 0. And then what is 0 factorial? 0 factorial is 1. Okay, so let's move on down here, all right? Expanding using Pascals. You guys will not be given Pascal's triangle. We need to know this. Depending upon what we decide with calculators, Audrey, depending upon what we decide, if we let you use your graphing, we're going to come around and make sure we clear out all of your stored information. So make sure anything that's there that you have stored that you don't want to be gone, write it down somewhere. But we need to make sure you guys know Pascal's triangle. It is a pattern. However you need to memorize it, do so. J period today we went through and everybody was pretty good with it. I was really impressed actually. But you'll have something really basic like this, right? Figure out which row. I'll post these answers so you can see. These ones are pretty simple. What are the signs going to be in your answer when you have a plus sign in the middle?
Positive.
All positive. What are the signs going to be in your answer when you have a negative in the middle? Alternating, positive and negative, right? Little things, guys, can keep you on track. You pay attention to what you're doing. Yeah. Are you going to have a long one? Yeah, you'll probably have a long one. Maybe. You guys can have as many sheets of paper as you want. You can turn paper sideways, whatever. But you have a calculator. So it doesn't matter how big the numbers are because you can use your calculators. But let's do 9 and 10 together. Again, the way that I do it, I think is the easiest for not making mistakes. But if you guys do it a different way, I understand. If you don't want to simplify in the middle, that's fine. I'm just saying, trying to help you have the least amount of mistakes or possibility of mistakes. What do I do for my first step when I'm expanding? Yep, we figure out what row we're going to. Mateo's saying we write down 1, 5, 10, then what? 10, 5, 1. Perfect. What's my next step? Write down our first term. My first term, guys, is x squared. I'm going to write x squared, and I'm going to put it in parentheses. My squared is in the parenthesis. X squared, x squared, x squared, all the way through, right? It's my next term. 2y what? 2y cubed. So I'm going to write down in parentheses 2y cubed, 2y cubed, 2y cubed, 2y cubed, all the way through, right? Now, how do we figure out what the exponent should be? Descending order. Good. I'll rewrite this below it so I have more room. All right, so descending order. That on my first term, I start with descending order. What row did we start with? 5? So I'm going to say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. What can I do with anything raised to the 0 power? Cross it off and make it a 1. You do not have to do this step, guys, but I personally go through and simplify every single little thing. So I don't have to do anything thinking-wise when I'm multiplying. I just literally look at the numbers and go, here, calculator, boom, boom, boom. It's easier that way. Then I'm going to take my exponents. I'm going to go in ascending order. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your rows should always start with the highest exponent and then end with the highest exponent. So over here I can say this crosses off and becomes a 1. Now, some of you don't like to do the simplifying like I do in the middle here. I just think it's a better idea so you don't get confused. It's super easy to get confused or lost in these problems. Some of us yesterday forgot our exponent rules. When you raise a power to a power, what do you do with the exponents? Multiply. So this is x to the 10th, right? This is x to the 8th. This is x to the 6th. This is x to the 4th. And this gives me just x squared, correct? All right, we're good. That's good. So now I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to distribute my exponent to both the number and to the letter. So I have 2y cubed. Questions? This 2 goes to the 2 and to the y. So this becomes 4y to the 6th. Good. This 3 goes to the 2 and to the y. So this becomes 8y to the 9th, right? 4 goes to the 2 and to the y, so this becomes 16y to the 12th. 5 goes to the 2 and to the y, so this becomes 32y to the 15th. Does anyone have any questions where I got all of those numbers from? Now, once you do that and you have everything crossed out, you literally just take any of the numbers, coefficients, anything like that, you put it in your calculator and you stick the numbers at the end. So I have 1 times x to the 10th gives me x to the 10th, right? Yeah. All right, so the next one I have 5 times 2 is what? 10. Good. So it's plus 10. Now just stick the letters together. X to the 8th, y to the 3rd. Mateo said, now in this case, our exponents won't add up to be the same. Correct, because we have, in our initial problem, you have an exponent that's squared or has an exponent itself. So now we say 10 times 4 is 40. And then stick the letters together. X to the 6th, y to the 6th. 10 times 8 is 80. And you have x to the 4th, y to the 9th, right? 5 times 16, again, is 80. Letters are x squared, y to the 12th. And then at the end, you have 1 times 32. So plus 32, y to the what? 15th. If you want to try and find some sort of correlation, what does your exponent start with? What's the first exponent? 10. What's 8 plus 3? 11. Then what's 6 plus 6? 12. What's 4 plus 9? 13. What's 12 plus 2? And then we end with 15. There'll always be some semblance of a pattern. Now, it's not always going to go up by 1 like that. It just depends upon the exponent that's in the original problem. But there'll always be some sort of correlation that you can see. There you go. 5th row. All right, questions. That's not any harder than a super basic problem, just the numbers are bigger. Same thing with the next one. The numbers are huge, but it doesn't matter because you guys have a calculator. I had to cross that problem off, so I had a little more room. So can someone tell me what the original problem of this next one is? 3x squared minus 5y to the 3rd raised to the 7th power. Okay, this is going to be a long one, and that's okay. Turn your paper sideways and do one whole problem on one huge sheet of paper. It's fine. It's the only time I won't get mad at you for using a bunch of paper. First thing we do, we're going to do the exact same thing that we have done every single time to approach these problems. What's the row that we're raising to? 7th row. Without looking. Anybody? 7th row. 1, 7. Uh-huh. 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 Perfect. Good. All right, so now we're going to take the first term, which is 3x squared, and we're going to write it a bunch of times. 3x squared, 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 and 3x squared. Yes, it is a possibility that you'll get a problem like this tomorrow. Now what do? I take the second term. Negative 5y cubed. Guys, that's a negative 5y cubed. I have a negative as my second term. What should my answer have sign-wise? alternating. Good. That's another, somebody asked, how do you check these? Well, there's not a precise way that you can check and say, okay, for sure I work backwards and this is my answer. But there are little things that you can check throughout your problem to see if you're on the right track. Signs would be one of them. All right, we got everything written down? Yeah, and we haven't really had to think much. We just write down a whole bunch of stuff. Now my exponents, I start with 7 and I go in descending order. So this is 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Anything raised to 0 power, I can go ahead and cross off and make it a 1. Start back at the beginning. Now we go in ascending order. So 0, so this cross off becomes a 1. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Questions? Now at this point, my suggestion to you is to evaluate each little tiny problem that's in here. If I have a power raised to a power, what do? Multiply. So I have 3 to the 7th. What is 3 to the 7th? 3 to the 7th, 2187. So I have 2187 x to the 14th. Now this is gone. I don't have to look at it anymore. So then I have 3 to the 6th, x to the 12th. So 3 to the 6th power is 729 x to the 12th. Do this with me, guys. Check, please. So now I have 3 to the 5th, x squared. So 3 to the 5th power is 243. Then I have x to the 10th, right? 5 times 2. Okay. I'm going to take my 4. My exponent's going to go to the 3 and to the x. This becomes 81 x to the 8th. 4 times 2. Scoot on over here. I have 3 goes to the 3 and to the x. This becomes 27x to the 6th. Everybody with? Alrighty. So then I take my 2 here and here. And I have 9x to the 4th. And then I'm going to take my 1. And then I'm just left with 3x squared. Correct? Okay, let's take a look at this. Long? Yes. Crazy hard? No. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take my 1. Negative 5 y cubed. Correct? So then I'm going to take my 2. I'm going to square negative 5, which becomes positive 25. And 3 times 2 gives me y to the 6th. Now I'm going to take 3. And I have negative 5 to the 3rd power gives me negative 125. And 3 times 3 is y to the 9th. Take my 4. I have negative 5 to the 4th power, which is what? 625? And then y to the 3 times 4 is 12. 5. Negative 5 to the 5th power is... What is it?
I don't know. I was guessing. Hold on. It's a guess.
Negative 5 to the 5th power. Negative 3125. And then I have y to the 15th. So then I have negative 5 to the 6th power. Got a guess for that one, kiddo? Negative 15, 625.
Oh, it's
Or positive 15.
It's 15,000 something.
It's 15,625, right? Y to the 18th. Why is it positive? Why do I know it's positive? Because it's an even number. You're raising it to an even power. Good. And then the last one. Negative 5 to the 7th power. Negative 78, 125. Y to the 21st. You guys with me? Again, you haven't had to do much other than just punch buttons in the calculator. And now, yeah, your numbers are going to be big. But you're literally just plugging in 2 or 3 numbers in the calculator. Multiply down and then stick your variables at the end of it. So what is 1 times 2187 times 1? 2187. So 2187, and what's my x to the 14th? Good. Again, if I were you, I would circle everything just so you don't miss anything. I have 7 times 729 times negative 5. Negative 22, 515? 20, that's what I meant. I looked right at it and I read it wrong. 25, 515? Y to the, sorry, X to the 12th, Y to the 3rd. Good. So now 21, 243, and 25. So 21 times 243 times 25. 127,575. Okay, big deal. That's fine. 127,575. X to the 10th. Y to the 6th. Good. Okay, moving along. 3581 negative 125. 35 times 81 times negative 125. Negative 354,375. So minus 354,375. X to the 8th. Y to the 9th, right? Okay, good. Now I have 35, 27, and 625. So 35 times 27 times 625. 590,625. Okay. So plus 590,625. What are my letters? X to the 6, Y to the... Good. Very good. Just take your time. 21 times 9 times... Whoa, negative 3125. Okay. 21 times 9 times negative 3125. Negative 500... Same thing, but just negative, right? Okay, so negative 590,625. What are my letters? X to the 4th, Y to the... Good, very good. Moving along, it's the last big one. 7 times 3 times 15,625. 7 times 3 times 15,625. What'd y'all get? 7 times 3 times 1565. 328, 125? Yep, okay. So plus 328, 125. X to the 3rd, Y to the 18th. And then last but very not least, minus 78,125. Y to the 21st. Did I put 3? I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you. All right, so is this problem kind of ridiculous a little bit? Yeah. Maybe. You have a calculator. Bring your calculator. If you guys don't have a calculator, then yes, this would be difficult to do.
Imagine
Trying to do this by hand? I mean, yeah, it would not be fun, no. But guys, I cannot impress upon you, and this is a very, very, very straightforward quiz. How many questions total? 5. 2, calculate the binomial coefficient. 3 Pascals. You're not going to have 3 that are as difficult as this, but you will have to think a little bit. You know, watch your negative sign, stuff like that. But very straightforward. You'll have the whole class period, so it's fine. Sound good?